Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back. This is the Ultimate Love Letter, and thank you for joining the conversation. This is a very special Convo number 50, so it means everything that you have joined me on this huge milestone of 50 episodes. Thank you so much. I literally could not have done it without all of you, our consistent listeners, the ones who tune in, who engage, who are just here week over week, ready to be inspired to hear what God has for us. So thank you. And here's to another 50. I want to get right into it. Something that was laid on my heart, and I am always taking inspiration from the experiences that come to me. So I want to get into the question of, are we settling in life, or are we living our true purpose? And we need to get into the differences of settling versus aligned. I took a call from an old friend of mine. We're not close anymore today, but he gave me a call yesterday, and it was a call of concern, I'll just say, in his voice. He didn't say it, but the undertone, the energy behind it was he has looked up and has realized that quite possibly he has lived misaligned with his true source. So this was an individual, let me just give you a little feedback. He has always had it together, financially speaking. Works a great job, has climbed the corporate ladder, makes excellent money, has always lived in the most beautiful large homes, has always drove the latest automobile, and he has done so quite honestly responsibly, right? He can afford these. He was never in over his head. During the pandemic, he had just recently purchased a second home, just a getaway property. And as things changed during the pandemic, he did what I call a checkmate move. He quietly listed his main home, his big home. They're actually both big, but he listed his main home up for sale off market, sold it quickly, took all the money from the sale of that home and paid off his second very large home that is kind of on the outskirts of Las Vegas, and moved in there, him and his beautiful wife. And now he's living in a beautiful home, zero mortgage, right? He's got two incomes because he has not one, but two explosive careers. I don't know what she does, but on the surface, he has done everything that society has told all of us we ought to be doing. We ought to be excelling at our careers, our 9-to-5s. We ought to be marrying the most beautiful person, which he did. He married a beautiful woman. We should be driving the most fancy cars. And when we achieve all that, then we will be fulfilled. Then we will be stepping into the secret to life and all joy and all roses. But when he called me today, or yesterday rather, he said he was in Mexico looking at a condo, and I mentioned that I was in Bali, and he said, how I wish I could move there. And I just said, well, what's stopping you? And what he said was, I don't know, a wife, dogs, obligations. But you can just sense in his undertone, what he was saying is, what he was feeling really and expressing was just discontentment. Like he has done all the things society has said he ought to be doing. He is on the outside everything to admire. And yet he has found himself living a life that, quite honestly, he has settled for. Even after all those big accomplishments. Why? Perhaps because he was following society's rules and not necessarily his own. And I know him. I knew him before he got married, and I know the dreams that he had before the wife, before he took on the second career, before all of this. I mean, he had dreams to live free, to live abroad, to, just to live carefree. But if we're not careful, and I told him this yesterday, life has a funny way of dictating the way we ought to go if we are not aware enough and, listen to this, brave enough to push the societal norms aside, to push the mind aside, those thoughts that are coming in saying, you're too late, you're behind, you ought to be doing this, you ought to be doing that. If we're not careful, if we're not aware enough to put those thoughts, let those thoughts go as quickly as they came, and then decide for ourselves, which means following our heart and doing those things, and only those things that serve us, that we want to be organically just doing the things that we are passionate about, what will happen is we may very well look up after 20 years and realize, oh my goodness, I have settled this entire time. And it was actually no coincidence that he called me, because I'm actually in the same position, deciding right now as I'm in Bali, and I have never felt so aligned in my entire life. Let me say that again. I have never felt so aligned in my entire life than what has been this past month in Bali. This feels like the life I deserve to be living. And as my time here is coming to an end, I cannot imagine me boarding a flight back to Los Angeles and simply dropping back into my same old routine. And although, hear me out, I love my life in Los Angeles. I love what I'm doing. I love the clients that I'm working with. I love my solitude. I love my home. I love my yoga studio. I love my city. But being here in Bali, what I have noticed is God has taken me to another level. And even though my life back home in Hollywood is grand and is explosive and I'm completely fulfilled there, I have ascended to another level since being here. I have ascended to another level since the beginning of the summer. And I knew it. I knew God has something in store. If you were following along on one of my previous episodes, or one of the last ones I did when I was in Los Angeles, I had spoke about when I was packing for my summer trip, I had thrown into one single suitcase what I thought was way too much. But I knew I was going to be gone the whole summer. And I knew I only wanted to take one bag. So that meant my bag was going to be busting at the seam. It was going to be overflowing. It was going to be swollen with material. And that's what it felt like. But to my surprise, when I went to close that single suitcase, it clicked with ease. And it was as if God said, yes, we're done. We're out of here. Let's go. We're out the door. what he was saying is, I have got something to show you. You are prepared for this. You are ready for it. And I can't wait to show you. God was more excited than I was embarking on this trip. And I said, oh, okay, God, you got something in store, because this excitement is just on another level. And what it is he has taken me to another level. So what my routine looks like in Bali is, man, I wake up at 6:30 a.m. because I can't wait to just run out of my villa into nature, surrounded by beautiful flowers and explosive trees and birds and roosters roosting and butterflies in the garden and this crystal clear cascading pool that's right outside my villa. And I can't wait to do my devotional and just be with God and meditate and journal in nature. Like, I do not linger in bed at all since I've been here. The sun is coming up, I'm out the door. And I don't come back inside until the sun is down, because when the sun comes down, the mosquitoes come out, and then I retreat back to bed. But it's perfect because I'm up at 6:30 and outside. And as the sun goes down, I'm back inside by 7 p.m. And I can now just rest and get amples of sleep so that I can rise refreshed the next day. So what has God done? He has actually enhanced my sleeping pattern. I always sleep 8 hours, period, no matter where I'm at. But now I'm sleeping even longer. I'm waking up even earlier. My communication has gotten even clearer with God since I've been here. And I already had a clear communication, but it's even more crystal here. But I attribute that to this. I have not had a single alcoholic beverage since I've been in Bali. And I drink leisurely. I love wine with food. I don't like getting drunk or tipsy or any of that. I don't really do cocktails these days, but I do enjoy my wine, But I have had not even that since I've been in Bali. It has been nothing, and I talked about this, nothing but water, coconut water, charcoal, healing shots. That's all it's been since I've been here. So now I'm clear. I have clarity. Also, the things I've been eating, like just being in this beautiful island, it just organically makes me feel like I want to eat fresh fruit and less processed goods. And even the times when because I do love to go out and have a nice meal, maybe I'll do dinner outside of my villa or a lunch. And even when I go out to restaurants, the portions are so small and they're so healthy and they're just so wholesome. I've lost weight since I've been here, and I've only been here less than 30 days. Like, I have never felt so aligned. And here's another thing. The creative juices have been just pouring out of me. Like, I am the most beautiful place, in my opinion, in the world. And I travel. If you don't know, now I travel extensively. And to me, Bali, the beautiful souls of the Balinese, the nature, the rice fields, the smell of the island, it is the most beautiful place. And as I'm here, God is just serving me this grand experience where He can create through me. And I'll just say it because I feel like it's on the edge. And so I take that as God wants me to say it. But there's a book that I've been wanting to write for 3 years. And I came here with the intention of writing that book. And do you know, the first day I arrived, I looked myself in the mirror and I said, you are here to write a best-selling book. And day one, I sat by the pool and it was like God took the pen and the paper, and all of a sudden this book just has started pouring out of me. I didn't know what it would be exactly, but it has become so much more. Why? Because God is flowing through me. So when I think about my life just being free and the intention I set over my life a few years ago about just living free, here I am living free on a whole nother level. So I'm contemplating, am I settling up by going back to Los Angeles? Like, should I be staying here? So that's a question I want to give to you. Are you settling where you are? Or are you living aligned? So let's get into it. What does settling feel like? Quite easily, settling feels like force. And you know when you're settling. Whether it's settling for the career, settling for the relationship, settling for the friendships, settling for the meal you're going to eat, settling for the cheapest accommodation when you go on vacation. You know when you are choosing less than you really want, less than what you know you are worthy of. And here's the tricky thing. If you don't feel you are worthy of it, then that needs to be your work. Because I'm here to tell you, you are worthy for only the most grandest, the top level experiences. You are worthy for the grandest relationships. You are worthy for the grandest career, whatever that career looks like. You are worthy of the best. You are worthy of what you want to do. Now, alignment, meaning if you are doing and working in the field that you are meant to be working in, what that looks like is energy just flows through you. Even when you're exhausted, exhaustion doesn't hit the same way. You're tired, but it's a great tired. The ones who are aligned and living their purpose and their dreams, they understand what I'm talking about here. You are tired, yes, but you are like so on fire that it's like, okay, I'm going to rest only so I can get my creative juices back up so I can get at it again tomorrow. Like, I can't wait. That is when you're aligned. When you're in a relationship that's aligned, it is revering you. It is energizing you. They're not pulling energy away from you. You're in their presence and the energy is being replenished. It's being elevated. No draining, no exhaustion. And actually, I'm going to go on and say this, it's really actually even no real need to feel like you need time apart. Now, time apart is healthy. I'm here alone. I have a beautiful man who is the only one I ever want to travel with for the rest of my life because I've traveled with girlfriends and family and it hits different. But the man God has sent has elevated my travel experience. But even though when we travel separately, I understand the health benefits of that, but I'm not trying to escape that. I'm just simply like, okay, I understand. This is a time to be in solitude and be with God. It's time for me to go be with God. It's time for you to go do what you need to do with God, and we'll come back together at some other point and we'll elevate each other. But it's not like, oh, I got to get away from him. Someone actually told me that in the studio. I joined a yoga studio here and someone asked me, they were like, oh, so your boyfriend can come with you and stay? He doesn't work remotely. And I said, absolutely. He does work remotely. But he has to be in the States at this time. And he said, oh, well, you've been traveling with him most of the summer. You probably needed a break. And I thought to myself, hell no, I did not. No, I was looking for a miracle for God to keep him here. But when it didn't happen, I knew, okay, God, you're serving up something here for me. You want to grow me. You want to show me something. You need me and you time. And so I'm here all for it. So I want to ask you, are you settling for less than you know you want, you know you deserve? Or are you living exactly the way and doing exactly what you ought to be doing? Do you find yourself daydreaming of a better life? Like, we all have goals. that we all want to ascend to, and those are healthy, of course. But do you find in your daydreaming waking hours that the life you're dreaming of is completely different from the life you're living? Ask yourself that. Because if it is, then possibly you are settling. Deepak Chopra says it like this. He says, if you had all the money in the world today, ask yourself, what would you be doing? If the answer is you would be doing exactly what you're doing right now, you have Dharma. You are living in your purpose. And from that standpoint, you will create all the money you desire. Let me say that again. From that standpoint, because you are living in your purpose, you are doing exactly what you want to do, exactly what you know you ought to be doing, you're living in your passion, you will create all the money that you need, period. And I get it. The fear of what if, right? Like, oh, I want to be a painter, but how can I give up my job at Starbucks, right? I have bills to pay, bills to be paid. Having a job that supports your art is noble. But if you want to be an artist, do you still wake up maybe early to work on your craft? Are you still maybe going out on the weekends to put your art out there? Are you working your 9 to 5 and doing your art so that you can step into the alignment of what it is being an artist? And sometimes that may look like actually stepping out in bold faith and letting go of the 9 to 5 and going all in. Here's what people don't realize. People don't realize that it's okay to give yourself, a month off to go all in on what you desire to do, because guess what? You can always find another job. People forget that. You can always find another job if it doesn't work out. But imagine what will be created when you allow yourself to do what is essential to you in this moment. The fact that I'm here is a big risk move. I'm not working right now with any clients. I am simply here to serve. I'm here to write the book that God has placed on my heart. I'm here to grow the podcast that you and I love. I'm here to continue to grow our blog. I'm working on all the things that are aligned with me. And even though I knew that was going to be a big, quote unquote, risk, I knew it was going to also be the biggest investment of my life. I was investing in myself. I am the biggest investment. And do you know what God has done? He has ascended me to another position in life. There's no going back from this position, ever. So my anxiety that came up today was, okay, well, am I settling going back to Hollywood? Because even that life looked beautiful, but it is nothing compared to this life. Waking up when I want to wake up, which it just so happens is 6:30 because I want to get out in life and play. Driving my motorbike to yoga whenever I want to. Having lunch at a beautiful cafe when I'm ready. Like, that is the life that I deserve. Sitting by the pool, writing a book, getting on the ultimate love letter and just spreading inspiration and truth. This is the life that God has given today. This is the life that I desire to live every single day. And what I've told God is, I already know something is about to break, because dropping back into my old routine seems like a backward movement. And I know when I follow God, there is no such thing as a backward movement. It's always up. So, are you settling, my friend? Are you in a relationship that is less than the one you dreamed of having? Are you brave enough to let it go so that you can make room for the one that God wants for you, the one that's going to serve you and revere you? Are you settling at a 9 to 5? Are you settling? Maybe you're in between jobs and you're looking for a job. Are you just frantically looking for a job, anything just to pay the bills? Or are you being selective and really choosing the roles that are aligned with you? How can we get clear on what's aligned with us and be calm enough to hold our space so that God can do what he needs to do to align you to what's meant for you? Meditation is a great tool. Can you meditate 5 minutes a day? 5 minutes in the morning, maybe 5 minutes at night to get clear? Once you get clear, I don't even know what meditation does, other than it clears the mind. You can hear your soul speak. All of a sudden, you got a roadmap on what to follow. And I don't want to hear, I don't know how to meditate. That's bullshit. I know the thoughts come, they come for all of us. But if you can just continue to sit there, watch the thoughts when they come, release it. And as soon as you realize you're thinking, you release the thought and you just hone in on your breath. That is meditation. And the more we do it, the better we come at it and come out of it. And the more divine wisdom and guidance comes. So that's how you can get clear to make sure you are living a life that is aligned. You don't want to wake up 20 years from now and realizing you settled, you worked hard at some other body's dream, right? Some other 9 to 5, building somebody else's business up, not getting no free time, 2 weeks a year. And what was it for? Stress, chaos, confusion. Bullshit. Life is meant to live vibrantly. Life is meant to live and is only a feeling when you are living in your purpose. I am living proof. I have lived misaligned most of my life. Only the last 10 years has my life been aligned. And actually the last 3 has it been more aligned than ever because I'm getting good at letting go and letting God. And only in the last 2 months have I never felt more aligned in my life. That is what God does. Step into your passion. I want to thank you again for joining me on this episode 50. I want to ask that you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Also, share this message with anyone who you feel may be aligned in their passion or may not be. Share the good news. Also, I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you living aligned? Or do you feel like maybe you're misaligned? Do you even feel like there's any such thing? Like life just, life throws at us what it does and we do the best. I mean, what are your thoughts? Please share in the comments so we can get into it, right? This is community building. So we're here to serve one another. Also, thank you for those who have so far left 5-star reviews. I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you. If you haven't done so yet, we need those reviews to make our podcast more reachable to those souls that are in need of God's truth, God's encouragement. Let's not hoard the goodness, y'all. Let's bring 1 million to God's kingdom. Let's bring 1 million to God's freedom. Let's live free, y'all. I want this life for everyone. I want it for you. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll be chatting again soon. Bye for now.